What's up, Pubsters? Welcome back to the Apple Pub. My name is Raphael.
And I'm Emmanuel,
And as suggested from one of our viewers, today we're going to be covering the iPad Pro.
which is also known as the iPad Plus.
So before we get into the new information and our thoughts about the iPad Plus, let's talk about what we already know.
Yeah, the iPad Pro is rumored to have somewhere between a 12.3 to 12.9 inch screen.
But it's been speculated through multiple sources that it's the 12.93-inch variation that's going to be coming to fruition.
And there was a leak of the rear shell of the iPad Plus some time ago when Apple was planning on releasing the device much sooner. It ended up getting postponed, but it's still a very reliable piece of evidence.
Yeah, there have also been multiple industrial models and mock-ups and cases that have been released that point to the 12.93-inch screen.
It is expected to come with a new A9 chip.
We do know that it's the iPhones that usually come with the base model chips, whereas the iPads usually come with the X variant, which is kind of what we're assuming is going to happen here too.
It is rumored to be coming with 2 gigs of RAM, but we could see it coming with 3 gigs of RAM if they really want to push the multitasking capabilities.
We're also expecting to see a dual speaker system both on the top and bottom of the iPad, because certain cases and mock-ups have shown that there's going to be stereo sound included.
Yeah, and it is also rumored that it might come with a USB 3 port on the side, so that's interesting as well.
Yeah, again with the cases, they showed that there's a bottom connector, which is more likely the Lightning connector, and another port on the left-hand side, which could be a USB 3 connection, which would be perfect for the iPad Pro, because this means, you could connect it to a monitor or have like one of the adapters connecting to USB flash drives and stuff, which kind of makes it more usable as a Pro device.
Now on to the most recent news that we heard about last week.
Yeah, we found out in some hidden code in iOS 9's beta files that people have been getting access to that there's a hidden keyboard inside, which is an expanded version of the regular keyboard, which kind of points to a larger iPad coming out.
It was also found that the code supported devices that had 2738 by 2048 resolution.
Which would make this new iPad coming with a Retina display with 264 pixels per inch. So now on to some of our own thoughts about the iPad Pro.
Yeah, a lot of people are speculating that this iPad Pro will kind of be like the Microsoft Surface, where it runs OS X and iOS and can switch between them seamlessly. We don't think that's going to happen. If it were to, it would be on the iPad Plus, but it just sounds too...
Yeah, Apple has mentioned a few times now that they're not planning on doing any kind of OS X, iOS 9 or iOS hybrid, but as they had said during WWDC for iOS 9, it's going to be kind of a modular OS, where they said for like something like the 4S, the iPhone 4S, you're going to have like the core iOS 9, software, but then for the more powerful, devices, you're going to have like these modules or sections that are going to be added on top to give it more functionality. So you have the core model and you have these little bits and pieces added on top. Something like the multi-screen viewing and such, where it's only the iPads that are powerful enough to do that. Maybe the iPhone 6s Plus, but the lower end models aren't going to have that functionality. So what is it to say that they might add an even extra layer of modular functionality for the new iPad Pro, which gives it that more OS X type feel, but not really a hybrid?
Apple's approach to their devices has been very different from Microsoft's because they view each device as its own function, so the software has to reflect that. So they're not going to have every device do everything and run OS X, but I do see them doing that where it's kind of like, here's iOS and here are all these additional units of functionality that they overlay on top of the OS. So I do see the iPad Plus getting like iOS 9 on crack, but I don't see it getting like OS X like some people have speculated.
Yeah.
Aside from that, what do you think about the role or what use people would have and who would buy the iPad Pro?
I honestly think if the USB 3 speculations are true, if it's more powerful, it has the RAM, if it's more, how the Surface is more like literally it's like a laptop in a tablet form. Mm-hmm. So if it is able to compete with that, I could feel comfortable taking something like this and being, this is my laptop. This is my replacement for my laptop. Because the only reason the iPad for me has never worked like that is because you need some way to quickly and easily transfer data between devices. I would want to be able to, stick a USB into it, but you can't. But with the USB 3 port, you could have some kind of what is easily put in an adapter to kind of connect it to a bunch of different things to use that function.
I guess it was never an issue for me in that department, like transferring things. I
But-
mean,
but I don't know
cloud and the lightning cable.
Yeah, I
fine,
get that, but with you have a laptop, you have a desktop, and you have an iPad.
Yeah.
To me, I'm thinking if it could really push the limits of being, I only need the iPad, and I don't need my laptop anymore.
Yeah. My iPad is already almost a laptop replacement, but yeah, like I get what you mean. There's still some things that you need more functionality to do, and I don't think a tablet is meant to be a laptop replacement. It can be. It does 90% of things that laptops do, but there's still that productivity and that swiftness that is missing. I think the new device is gonna be huge in business. Just because I think we'll have multi-user support, if not in this OS, the next one. But I think it's gonna be very oriented towards like doctors who need to go through a bunch of paperwork. In like hospitals, you have thousands and thousands of waivers and pages, and you could just like go through things quick, sign them, and ship them off. So I think there's a big opportunity for Apple there in business. I also think for people who are pro users who want a pro tablet, because that's something we haven't really seen. Microsoft has really been pushing it there, and they've been doing a good job, in my opinion. Little pricey, but good job.
But then honestly, if you think about it, if you're coming out with a almost 13-inch iPad, it's going to be pushing the $1,000 range anyway.
Yeah.
So for something like that, you really want to get a device worth that money, or else you're just getting an oversized screen for if you were just using it to read documents.
True.
It's like, why?
You know what I just thought of? Tim Cook, iPad sales have been slumping, and Tim Cook has been very confident in the midst of this. And this has been happening for maybe a year to 2 years. And I think he knows that the tablets were a breakthrough, but that was in its infancy. Now they need to bring it up to like a pro level device. So we're seeing history. We're seeing a development of the tablet. It's kind of growing up into its role.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. We truly are in a post-PC era where people don't need to lug around laptops or have desktops.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. It went from computers the size of rooms, it went to regular desktop computers. Laptops kind of took over computers because they pretty much are powerful enough to run the same exact things on a computer.
Yeah.
So now it could just be it's the tablet's turn to, kind of start taking over a bit at a time.
Steve Jobs said like desktop computers will be like the trucks. Not everyone needs a truck, but some people still do. And laptops and iPads and iPhones, the computer on our wrist that's coming out too, those are gonna take over most of our life. Maybe not so much the computer on the wrist, but
Eventually I could see that at some point in the future. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out.
But I noticed the smaller the form factor, the less productivity and the more consumability it has. But yeah, like in general, I'm excited. We're finally like breaking new frontier, and Microsoft led the way. Apple kind of lagged behind here a little bit. But what I love about Apple is when they finally do come around,
It's streamlined.
yeah,
It's clean.
It's done really well. So really excited about the iPad Pro. Do you think you're gonna be getting one?
Again, it depends on what happens. I've been thinking of getting a tablet. I prefer my laptops just because I do most of my work on it.
Yeah.
But possibly, I mean, I was looking at the Surface, so I mean, if this can compete well with it, I might. We'll see.
For me, I don't think I'll buy it initially. I think I'll become an eventual owner of one. But in general, I can't live without an iPad. And I don't mean a mini, but like a full-sized iPad. I think it's amazing, and I'm excited to see where the iPad Pro goes. And I could see myself buying the second or third generation of it. So.
Oh, true. They always usually jump it up the second time around. But
Yeah.
it's not like the iPad is a new device. It's been around for a while, so I would assume when this comes out, it's going to be a full functioning device. It's not like the Apple Watch where it's like the first trial. They have multiple trials. This is just like the updated, more powerful version.
But it goes back to how the iPhone and the iPad were kind of the same thing. People were saying it's just a bigger iPhone. But because it's bigger, it takes on a whole new role. And I think this device is big enough where it could take on a way different role than the iPad Air and iPad Mini. I think it could be much more professional. I think it could be much more business oriented. And I think it could be much more of the most laptop replacement kind of iPad there has been to date. So, and that's pretty much my thoughts. Do you have any final?
No, that was it. We're both really looking forward to see what Apple has to bring when this comes out. I mean, obviously we have the iPhone 6s to look forward to. the new Apple TV to look forward to, the TV streaming service. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy fall this year.
And we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was everything you wanted. If you guys have any questions or want our opinions, do let us know in the comment box down below.
And as always, please help support the channel by subscribing to it, like the video if you liked it, and of course, we'll see you again next time.
Take care, Pubsters.